Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we plunge into the heart of baffling mysteries, cutting through the noise to bring you the clearest picture possible.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into one of the most perplexing missing person cases in modern history, the disappearance of Brian Shaffer.
It's a story that starts April 1st, 2006, a 27-year-old medical student in Columbus, Ohio,
Yeah, the sources you shared show he walked into a bar, the Ugly Tuna Saloona.
and was last seen on camera around, 1:55 a.m., seemingly going back into the bar.
Exactly, and the absolute kicker, never seen leaving, never heard from again.
It's like he just vanished. Poof.
It truly is a case that, well, it defies easy explanation, and it really highlights how quickly things can change.
Yeah,
Brian, he had this really promising future.
right. Second-year med student at Ohio State.
And serious girlfriend, Alexis Wagoner, also a med student.
They were even planning a trip, right? Spring break in Miami? Maybe an engagement?
That's what the sources suggest, yeah. But underneath all that, there is this profound personal tragedy.
His mother had died just weeks before.
6 weeks before he disappeared, yeah.
So our mission today is to sift through the known facts. Based on the material you shared, look at this bewildering lack of, well, any evidence.
And kind of unpack the different theories that are still swirling around.
Exactly. Why does this case still frustrate investigators and honestly fascinate the public almost 2 decades on? Let's really get into it.
Okay.
To really understand this, we need to look at who Brian Shaffer actually was.
Oh, definitely.
The articles say, born Feb 11, 79, from Pickerington, Ohio, OSU grad, microbiology degree.
Right.
But what really stands out is this contrast, serious med student, charismatic, outgoing.
But then there's this other side, these almost bohemian dreams he apparently had.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Well, he'd apparently told friends his real dream was starting a band, like Jimmy Buffett style, living on an island.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
It's different from med school.
Totally. And he had this tattoo, remember, the Pearl Jam Alive stick figure on his arm.
Oh yeah, I saw that mentioned.
Some people see that as kind of a symbol of wanting that other life. And it wasn't just talk. He'd spent time in Puerto Rico before.
For fun or?
Both, it seems, fun. And also, during med school breaks, it's not just a quirky detail, It's kind of central when you think about whether he might have just left.
That makes a lot of sense. So, a guy with big dreams, but also dealing with some heavy stuff.
Definitely. His personal life was really in flux.
Right. His mother, Renee, died of myelodysplasia, that rare cancer, in March 2006. Just weeks before he vanished.
Yeah. And while friends said he seemed okay on the surface.
His father, Randy, noticed he was just wiped out, exhausted from studying.
And that period also brought up some pretty deep family tensions.
Okay.
Well, Randy, Brian's dad, had been unfaithful. Renee changed her will just before she died because of it.
Wow.
And Randy was apparently quite upset, even wanted Brian and his brother Derek to give up their inheritance.
That's a lot to deal with on top of grief and med school.
It really is. And it's important to remember, too, the background material mentions Brian had struggled with depression before.
Right.
And sometimes he'd spontaneously, leave friends when they were out drinking. He'd even apparently talked about wanting to run away with Alexis after his mom died.
So that history of maybe impulsive behavior or just wanting an escape, that becomes really relevant later.
Exactly. It feeds into some of the theories.
Okay, so let's set the scene for that night. March 31st, 2006. Classes had just ended for spring break at OSU.
Right. Brian starts the evening having dinner with his dad, Randy.
At Outback Steakhouse, which was actually his mom's favorite place. Kind of poignant.
Very. His younger brother, Derek, was invited but couldn't make it, had other plans.
And Randy later said Brian seemed just incredibly tired.
Yeah, exhausted. Said he'd been pulling all-nighters for exams, still grieving. Randy apparently even thought maybe Brian shouldn't go out that night. Didn't say anything, though.
So after dinner, Brian meets up with his friend, William Clint Florence.
Right, around 9 p.m. at the Ugly Tuna Saloona.
And from there, they started bar hopping, taking a shot at each place.
Yep, hard liquor at each stop. Then around 10 p.m., Brian called Alexis.
That call, telling her he loved her, excited about the Miami trip, just days away.
It's incredibly poignant, isn't it? Just hours before he disappears. It really paints a picture of someone still connected to his plans.
Makes it harder to square with him just walking away, maybe?
It certainly does. So, anyway, they eventually head back to the Ugly Tuna Saloona around 1:15 a.m.
And they're joined by Meredith Reed, a friend of Clint's.
Yeah, and the security cameras at the building entrance catch all 3 of them arriving.
Okay. And inside the bar, things weren't totally smooth. Meredith saw Brian and Clint arguing.
She did. Described it as looking kind of bad, though she couldn't hear what it was about over the noise.
Interesting. So, even with his close friend, there was some tension that night.
Seems like it.
And then, the final glimpse. The moment that's just baffled everyone. 1:55 a.m.
Brian's seen outside the bar, talking for a bit with two women, later ID'd as Amber and Brighton,
He waves goodbye to them.
and turns back towards the bar's entrance.
And that is literally it. The last verified sighting. The cameras see him heading back towards the bar.
And then, nothing. When the bar closed at 2 a.m., Clint and Meredith couldn't find him.
Called his phone.
Repeatedly. Straight to voicemail. They figured he'd just gone home.
But he hadn't. His car was still parked at his apartment, untouched. Bed was made.
Right. And then Monday morning, April 3rd, he misses his flight to Miami with Alexis.
And that's when the missing person report gets filed.
Yeah.
It goes from a night out to a full-blown mystery really fast.
Incredibly fast.
Okay, so this is where the investigation gets, well, both fascinating and incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, the core of it is that security footage from the Ugly Tuna Saloona,
Police go over it meticulously. It shows him going in.
but never coming out through the main entrance.
Detective Andre Edwards, one of the originals, he was incredibly thorough, right? Took the discs home, projected them onto a wall.
Frame-by-frame analysis. He was 100% certain Brian didn't leave via that main escalator.
How is that even possible? How do you just not exit?
It's the central paradox, isn't it? Which led them to look at other ways out.
Like a service door, near a construction area.
Exactly. Described as plywood, chain, padlock. But apparently it could be pushed open, not really meant for the public.
And the cameras there weren't great.
Not ideal. One was panning constantly, the other was manual. So yeah, potentially could have missed an exit there.
Squeak John Hurst, the former lead detective, he thinks Brian did leave that way.
That's his belief, yeah. Though he admits it would have been tough to navigate, especially if intoxicated. It's not the obvious route out.
And they didn't just look at the bar, obviously. The search was huge right away.
Oh yeah, massive. Police, canine units sometimes. They scoured the streets, checked dumpsters, waste containers.
Searched the Olentangy River next to campus.
Even the sewer system. And flyers everywhere. His picture, the Pearl Jam tattoo, that little fleck in his iris.
And despite all that, nothing. Absolutely zero useful information. It's hard to fathom.
It really is. And as the investigation went on, they interviewed over 100 people.
Bar staff, those two women he was last seen with.
They're identified years later, yeah. The band that played that night.
And Brian's dad, Randy, and Meredith Reed, Clint's friend, they both took polygraphs.
Passed them, yes. But here's one of the really contentious points. Clint Florence, the friend Brian was out with,
He refused to take one.
refused on his lawyer's advice, then invoked the Fifth Amendment when he was subpoenaed.
Which, naturally, made police suspicious.
Of course. Though, lawyers often advise against polygraphs anyway. They're not always reliable. But still, it puts investigators in a really tough spot.
Yeah, it definitely does. It raises a lot of questions. So the investigation itself becomes this maze, right? Full
Yeah.
of these weird turns and false leads.
Absolutely. Like 6 months after he vanished, September 2006, Alexis calls his phone. It
Yeah.
rings 3 times before going to voicemail.
Whoa. What did the phone company say?
Called it a computer glitch. But, and this is crucial, the sources state a ping was detected.
From his phone. Where?
From a cell tower in Hilliard. That's about 14 miles northwest of Columbus.
Okay, wait. So if it pings there,
Scratehurst confirmed it. For that to happen, the phone was certainly turned on and certainly left the building.
that completely contradicts the idea he never left the bar, or at least never left via a known exit with his phone off.
Exactly. It adds this whole new layer of mystery. And there were apparently other alleged pings near campus, too, which just muddies the waters even more.
Wow. Okay. And then there was that weird incident in 2008 with his dad's obituary.
Oh, yeah. A note was left on Randy Shaffer's online obituary. It read, "To Dad, love, Brian, U.S. Virgin Islands."
That must have caused, hope, right? Thinking maybe he did just go start a new life.
A huge roller coaster, absolutely. But investigators traced it. Came from a public computer in Franklin County, Ohio. Deemed a hoax.
Cruel.
And to make it worse, the library where it was posted, the cameras weren't working at the time, so no idea who posted it. Just another dead end.
Man, what about other theories? Like the smiley face killer thing.
Columbus police looked into it briefly, but pretty quickly rejected any connection to Brian's case based on the info we have.
Okay. And the idea he was hidden in the construction site?
Ruled out. They searched thoroughly, found nothing. No body, no traces.
And the river.
Olentangy River theory was mostly dismissed too. Too shallow to really carry a body far, and again, searches found nothing. Shows how
Yeah.
many angles they did pursue, though.
Definitely.
And beyond the official stuff, there were tons of alleged sightings.
All over the place, right?
Yeah.
Detroit, Texas, Colorado, California.
Even Sweden and the Virgin Islands. The FBI, Texas Rangers, they all looked into them.
And nothing panned out.
Nope, not one concrete lead. They released an age-progressed photo in 2021, did facial recognition on a homeless man in Tijuana recently.
Also not him.
Also not him. The total lack of verifiable sightings is almost as strange as him vanishing in the first place.
So where does all this leave us with this enduring mystery? Clint Florence. That suspicion still lingers because he wouldn't fully cooperate.
It does seem to. And his lawyer, Neil Rosenberg, even put out that statement suggesting Brian himself was causing the family pain by staying missing.
Implying Brian was alive and choosing not to come forward.
Yeah.
That's pointed.
Very. And it really clashes with what Brian's brother Derek believes.
What's his take?
Derek thinks Clint knows more, maybe about Brian wanting to leave or something else that happened that night. You have this real disagreement right within the inner circle. Shows how murky it still is.
So when we look at the main theories now, they each kind of make sense in their own way, given everything.
Right. First, there's voluntary disappearance.
Which ties back to his bohemian dreams, the island life thing.
Exactly. The pressure he was under, grief, med school, maybe engagement looming, plus that history of, spontaneous behavior, wanting to run away.
It's plausible he just walked away to start over somewhere else.
It's definitely on the table. Then you have accidental death.
Right, possibly due to intoxication.
Yeah.
Skeet Hurst's theory about falling into a dumpster.
Yeah, he mentioned many had side doors. Or maybe just succumbing to the elements, falling somewhere unseen in that area, which was apparently a bit rough.
Grim, but possible.
Very possible. And then, of course, foul play.
The chilling one. That he met with harm after leaving the bar.
Mugging gone wrong, hit and run, an argument with someone. Could be anything.
And the body disposed of, maybe in a landfill. The fact his dad was searching dumpsters himself, even before the police were fully involved.
Yeah, that really highlights how worried he was about that possibility.
So almost 2 decades later, Brian Shaffer is still a missing person.
Still officially missing. Police still get tips. The Kitch file is apparently 4 boxes thick. Huge amount of work, just no conclusion.
This great Hurst, now retired, still finds it incredibly frustrating, but holds on to his theories.
Understandably. You'd want an answer after all that time.
And Brian's disappearance had such a huge impact, especially on his dad, Randy.
His relentless search efforts.
Yeah.
Just tragic that he died himself in that freak accident in 2008.
A falling tree branch during a storm. Awful. But his legacy. He successfully lobbied for that statewide protocol for missing adults in Ohio.
Yeah, something positive came from his pain, helping other families. A heartbreaking silver lining.
It really is. But the case itself,
Yeah.
it just makes you wonder, how does someone vanish, literally without a trace, from a busy bar in a city like Columbus?
Surveillance shows him walk towards the entrance and then gone. Like an illusion.
It really defies logic.
And, in this age of digital footprints, constant surveillance, Brian Shaffer's case is this stark reminder that real mystery can still exist.
Maybe hidden in plain sight. Or just down to some random unrecorded moment or choice.
Exactly. What tiny detail, what hidden decision holds the key to what actually happened to him, we just don't know.
If you or anyone listening has any information, anything at all about Brian Shaffer's disappearance, please do contact the Columbus Division of Police Investigative Desk. The number is 614-645-4624.